seeing you here inside the womb. Greetings,
The
Starfire.
neon womb.
There we go. Welcome to Mad Science Films. I'm Jimmy P, filmmaker, section astronaut, and as ever, I'm joined by my deadly co-host.
Oh, deadly nice. James Morrissey, one half of the Mad Science Films team. Some guys, if you've been enjoying the Mad Science Films content, then why not subscribe to our channel and come follow us on Facebook. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave us in the comment section down below. Let's crack up with the show.
Nice. Please check out our fourth feature film for free over on YouTube. Just search for Little Monster or click on the link in the show notes below. This week, we're campaigning for a forgotten masterpiece of genre cinema to be given the beautiful Blu Ray treatment, and it is my choice. Yes, that's right. I can hear all of the internet singing their praises. And I've decided to go with 1988's Grotesque, directed by Joe Donatore. Not quite sure of the pronunciation, but let's go with that. Okay, Jim, are you ready for a synopsis of this bad boy?
Let's go, bro.
Okay. A gang of crazed punks break into a family's vacation home in the mountains and slaughters the entire family, except for one daughter who gets away. So, that's only part of the film, and we're going to get, I think we have to sing this film's praises, get into spoilers on this one, because that is really the very basic setup, and then it goes other places as well. Yeah. So yeah, let's start there, and then let's move on. But yeah, we're going to get into heavy spoilers, but I don't think it's going to ruin the enjoyment of the film overall. But just bear that in mind. So, Jim, Grotesque. I'm not saying you're grotesque, but have you seen this film before?
No, this is the first time for me. I've seen this kind of film before. Well, I really enjoyed it. Like, I got to be honest, it's hard to pin, isn't it? Because there's so many. Like, it's either really just messed up and there's no direction, which is not, or it's completely well thought out and very purposely done. Like, it seems to be a horror film that loves being a horror film, and it's so saturated in horror. Like, it's just every minute of it, it's horror. You know, from the title, even the family's name is Kruger. The head of the family is a horror filmmaker, and then you got these punks who are just horrifically fucking, just horrible fucking people.
So gloriously 80s. Do you know what they reminded me? They reminded me of like the bad guys from a Police Academy movie.
Yes,
like,
you did.
Honestly,
yeah,
I was expecting Bobcat Goldthwait to turn up.
Yeah, definitely. I did. Oh god, that punk laugh, like this over the top. Oh, I'm a psychopath, so everything's really funny. That got a little bit annoying.
That's true.
Yeah, that did kind of decided to fucking piss me off a little bit. I kind of like the lead punk guy, Scratch. He's like this Billy Idol, Freddie Starr kind of like.
Lots of cocaine. Cocaine seemed to inform his performance.
Yeah, so I could see that was probably in the director's notes as your kind of motivation is coke, a lot of cocaine. Linda Blair, I mean, she kind of goes missing a little bit. Like, she doesn't, it's not her best performance. I mean, I know she's
Did you notice in the credits she's an associate producer?
I was going to say, yeah. So she's an associate producer on this as well. So I don't know whether she was distracted with other things or
possibly
or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, she didn't kind of steal the show. And another actor I wanted to see more of, but we didn't, was Rob Zidar. Rob Zidar's in this as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just wasted.
Really wasted. Really? Yeah. Like, why wasn't he the main like gang leader? You've got Robert Zazar, and he's like not even like second wheel. He's like third punk from the left. It's like, what?
No, what a waste. I like the twist though. It was such a giving film. It starts off as like one thing, and then that turns out to be, so it's like this almost like hooded man is going to sacrifice his woman, and that turns out to be a kind of
a movie with a movie prologue. Yeah,
and then it kind of goes on, and I'm not sure whether the dad, who's a Orwell Kruger, is it? Or is it Orville?
Yeah,
Kruger?
Orville Kruger.
Orville Kruger. So he's obviously this horror filmmaker, and then when Linda
Special
Blair,
effects artist. So he's the special effects artist, and he's talking to the producer.
Sure, of course, yeah. So he's the special effects guy, and his daughter is Linda Blair, and Linda Blair and her friend go to stay with him and his wife in the cabin.
And her friend was brilliant as well. And this is
I thought she was very well.
I was expecting like either her or Linda Blair to become like the central characters. And for a while, Linda Blair was, but as you said, she kind of gets sidelined about 3/4 of the way into the film.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yeah.
I really like that though, because you're following the character. Well, they're obviously going to survive. And then it's like, actually they don't. And very early on too. So where's this film going? You kind of happily lost. Is like, what's going on? And then of course you've got these twists where there's this hidden
room.
Yeah, hidden room where there's this step sibling. Well, no, it turns out to be like a
cousin
of Linda Blair. Yeah, of course, yeah. It's all fucking great.
But it's really well done because there were like again for the show. I've ended up watching this 3 times, and script wise, it's planted all the way through the film. Like, so by the end, it's not completely out of nowhere because, she asks early on as soon as they get to the house and they get to her old bedroom, she's like, oh, how's Patrick? And you're like, well, we don't see Patrick until we do at the very end. And, the mum's like, oh, good days and bad days. And then they're talking, the punks are like, oh, this guy must have like a safe or a secret stash or something.
Yeah,
they built this room. And it's, again, all of this stuff pays off. And yeah, absolutely, man. What I love about this film, and you've nailed it on the head for me, is the guy loves horror so much so that he does pretty much like as many subgenres of horror as he can do. So yeah, there's this gothic movie in a movie prologue kind of thing, which goes nowhere. And to be honest, there's like 5 minutes at the beginning of the film, which are like, okay, it establishes he's a movie director, but that could have been a lot shorter. That's the one bit I was just like, okay, all right. Yeah. Then it turns into like this home invasion flick for like 40 minutes with the punks. And yeah, the punks are like proper 80s amped up. Oh, we're angry at everything. God damn you, get off the road. Everything pisses these guys off. And I love it. Then it becomes like a monster movie slasher, basically.
Like a Friday, almost like a precursor, like it could be like a pre-Friday the 13th, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then like when Linda Blair kind of drops off the thing, it becomes like a manhunt posse film. So like this posse get together and hunt down this monster. So full-on monster movie type thing. Then there's the good cop, bad cop shit going on. It becomes like a legal drama for a bit. And then we go into like a revenge movie. And another bit which again really loses me, to be honest, with a proper what the fuck epilogue, where we're back in the cinema. And again, it feels like, and the guy's done quite a few films, but it feels like the kind of film you make when you think this might be your only film you're ever going to make, because you jam everything in. And Jim, you'll remember, when we were doing Night of the Living Dead Resurrection, like we were throwing everything in there. There was like a hip hop opening, with like freeze frames and zooms in and like, all of this shit. And it was just like, this might be the only film we make, so let's just do everything we can do. And it feels like that, but it's not. This is like his 4th or 5th feature. But yeah, he throws everything in there. And yeah, like, he's got a great cast. Linda Blair, not at her best. I think, a previous episode we did was The Chilling, and I found Linda Blair much more effective in The Chilling than in this. Her friend was great, but again, spoilers, sorry guys, dispatched too soon. But that also felt quite shocking because, there were such good performances that you kind of were like, oh shit, okay, where the fuck is this going next? You mentioned Robert Zadar, who was really wasted, and I think that was a false step. Like as opposed to her Linda Blair's friend Kathy or whatever, that was like wrong foot in the audience. But you have Robert Zadar, you do something with him, and he's killed off pretty early on. And he only has like a couple of scenes and not a lot to do in it.
Not big in it at all. They could have put anybody else in his shoes, and it wouldn't have affected the film whatsoever, because he just wasn't used at all.
Yeah.
I kind of like this little social commentary on what is ugly. Is it the outside? Is it the inside? They play on that a little bit as well.
And the thing with the brothers, the dad and the uncle. So there's a dad who turns normal people into monsters, and the uncle who turns monsters into beautiful people or whatever, and it's a bit on the nose and it's a bit clunky, but it's more than in these kind of films that we usually see. Normally in these kind of films there aren't even that sort of levels or anything like that. The uncle, Tab Hunter, again, who kind of like we talked about Troy Donahue in earlier films. He was like this former matinee idol kind of guy in like westerns and stuff like this, and then had this resurgence in the 80s of doing like low budget horror, which with John Waters and Divine. He was like the love interest of Divine in some of those movies as well. So it was great to kind of have him back as the uncle, and he properly going for it, and the end reveal as well. He's like, look at me.
That was brilliant. That was. I didn't see that coming.
No. And again, really well done. And the good cop, bad cop stuff. It felt like a different movie, but the sheriff was so good in it as well, and he's been in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But it was so good that I wanted like almost to keep following him for a bit, but then we moved on to the revenge plot. So
you just didn't know where it was going to go. Like I didn't know where it was. I just didn't know where we were going to end up. It was such a crazy film. Yeah. But I've really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and it was nice to see like a bit of trivia there with Guy Stockwell playing Orville Kruger, which of course is Dean Stockwell's lesser known brother. But I thought
I hadn't known that. Oh.
Yeah. So, but he was really good though. He looked like legit. He came across like he kind of knew his craft as an actor. So, but again, he was all these great. It's almost like the shit, like Brad Wilson, I think his name was, who played Scratch, the lead punk. Yeah. Hasn't done a great deal of stuff, so probably not the best actor. But I like how the poor actors survived the whole film, and then the better actors were being killed off.
I mean, that might have something to do with the budget, and they could only afford the good actors for longer. Yeah, I mean, Scratch, honestly, like, was just dialed up to 11. There was no subtlety or whatever. And the bit where he's just like, he's pressed up against a tree, and he's just like, oh no, the monster is trying to kill us, the car broke down, and he's like looking behind him as if to see, is the posse buying this, and they believe in this bullshit. It's so big, but I loved it. It was great.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, really good film. So yeah
awesome. Yeah, cool, awesome. So Jimothy, who do you think is going to be best placed to put this bad boy out for us?
Again, this is pretty difficult to kind of put in just one category, isn't it? So I just think, 88 films, 101 films, good 80s horror fun. So I think they'd have a lot of fun putting that together. And good
cool. I've gone with Arrow. Again, I think, like you said, like they do put out a lot of like horror 80s slasher stuff like Doom Asylum and stuff like that. And it feels of that kind of ilk, that level in terms of budget, but then actually it's a bit better in terms of the content and play with. So I think Arrow would be great, and I'd love to see more info on the making of. There's a bit of trivia on the IMDb page that apparently in post-production, Linda Blair kind of fell out with the filmmakers a bit, and they went in a different direction than the original script. So I'd love to hear more about that. Linda Blair, if we could get her to talk about it, that would be fascinating to me. I just think Arrow could put together a really good package. Apparently, there is a cut out there without the epilogue with the Frankenstein and the Wolfman creature. That felt ridiculously tacked on, beyond the fact that we love monsters, we love horror so much, then let's put that in. So it'd be interesting to see how the film plays just without that ending. Because again, it just went on far too long, and you're like, I'm not sure the point. But I did love the fact that Linda Blair is in the audience very briefly. She kind of stands up and goes, and runs away, like for 2 seconds. Like literally, she's less than that. She's probably like about in 5 frames of the film before she runs off. But that's dedication, man.
commitment there, isn't it? That's wacky ending, wasn't it? Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So, Jim, you've seen Grotesque. You still, despite the fact that it is about 7 films in one, you still fancy watching another film after Grotesque. What are you going to suggest to peeps?
Well, I've gone for a few. Now, I've gone for Last House on the Left. Okay, I think that's kind of in that same vein as a Home Invasion. Very violent, good stuff. So Last House on the Left. Another Home Invasion, more recent, funny games. So you're switching out your punks for these more middle-class psychopaths, I guess. That's just straight up like Home Invasion, isn't it? Yeah. But if you still like murdering punks, a film I watched recently, I haven't seen it for a very long time, and that's Class of 1984.
Ooh, nice.
Absolutely brutal, yeah. Brutal punks just on a murder spree. So yeah, there's my 3.
Good call, man. Like that, like that. So my first recommendation is very similar, like a home invasion where the home they invade is like more fucked up than they are. So Killers, which is like an early or mid 90s movie, which I like knew nothing about, saw on the shelves in Blockbuster, and bizarrely is now on, let me get this right, it used to be IMDb TV, but now Freevee, which you can get through Amazon Prime for free or whatever. So Killers, where it's this like kind of like brothers who are on the run. They hold a family hostage, and it turns out the family are properly fucked up. So similar to Last House on the Left, but like dialed up to 11. So definitely worth checking that out. Again, similar kind of thing. Not necessarily a home invasion, but people breaking into a house, and the house turns out to be more fucked up than they thought. People Under the Stairs from Wes Craven.
Oh yeah,
love that film. Absolute quality classic. And if you haven't seen it for a while, I guarantee it's weirder than you remember it being as well. So there's that. Another film which I absolutely love, and it starts off as one thing and then twists and turns into another one, From Dusk Till Dawn. One of my favorite films of all time, and it just pulls off that twist so well. That you could watch the film that it starts out as, and you'd be perfectly happy if it carried on in that vein, but then it goes to completely different territories, so that's good. And then a completely random one, but if you're in the mood for like a movie where one of the main characters is a special effects guy and you don't know what's real and what's not, FX with Brian is it Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy. I'm fairly sure it's the two Brians. Right, quality 80s movie. Brilliant. I love FX, man. Like that was part of the reason. That and FX2 were part of the reason that I became obsessed with horror films. Was just how amazing those movies were. Cool. Okay, guys. So, have you seen Grotesque from 1988? What did you guys think of the film? What did you think of our take on the movie? And are there any other films that you think would go nicely with Grotesque? Also, guys, we love viewer recommendations. We've got a couple more coming up as well. But please, if there are any films that you want us to check out and make the case that they deserve a beautiful Blu Ray treatment, send us your recommendations. And Jim, what else can these people do?
So guys, if you do like this video, then please hit the like button. If you've been enjoying the Mad Science content and want to subscribe to our channel, come follow us on Facebook. Like Jim said, any suggestions or comments, leave us in the comment section down below. Thank you and goodbye.
Sup.